As the trade deadline rolls near, we have the Mets trying to vie for a spot in the wild card. My friend John here thinks they're trying to vie for a spot at the top of the NL East. We're going to talk about that. This is the Man Cave. What's going on, everybody? I'm Rafael Elia.
And I'm John Jackson. Yes, Rafael's right. The Mets right now, they have some decisions to make. They are not sellers. Don't even get that started. They're definitely not sellers. But the thing is, what can they do to put them in a better position to make the playoffs? And right now, obviously, everybody...
The answer is nothing.
Yeah, that's his answer. We'll get into that in a second. But right now, they're fighting real close for a wild card spot, and they're 5.5 games back from the division. They have a chance with both. It's definitely plausible, but right now things aren't looking terrible, but it's not looking great. They're not going to go
fighting for a wild card spot with the Miami Marlins at the beginning of the season.
I don't think anybody thought that, unless you're a Marlins fan who's optimistic as ever. So.
And did you think they were going to be able to do it without Fernandez or Giancarlo Stanton performing at the beginning of the season at all?
Well, Fernandez only didn't perform like the first half of the month or something. He's been absolutely outstanding since.
Jose Fernandez has been great, yeah.
Yeah, Stanton though.
I mean, he's been great too.
Recently.
This season.
Yeah.
What about the first half?
No, you're right. I mean, you would not have expected the Marlins to do good without Stanton doing well as well.
We'll go off of that now. I just wanted your take.
Yeah, no.
Go back to the Mets.
You would expect that. But anyway, with the Mets, I didn't expect them to be in this position at this point. They're not doing terrible. You know, if you listen to some Met fans, it's like propaganda. You act like they're 20 games under 500 with no chance of the playoffs. They're in a position right now where they can realistically make the playoffs easily with the wild card, and they have a shot at the division. Of course, last year they were doing probably even worse at this point, or almost exactly the same when it came to the division.
It's pretty identical.
But you don't have a Cespedes this year. But the thing is, you do have Cespedes on the team. You do have a team that can win. The question is, when will they start winning? But you said, kind of like what I just said, they can't really get better. There is no Cespedes.
I'm just having fun watching the Mets as the favorites come the beginning of the season, and now they're fighting.
But again, not many people had them as the favorites, though. They dismissed them.
I wouldn't have dismissed them. I didn't hear a lot of dismissive thoughts.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard
you had a rotation that was supposed to be full of 5 aces.
Yeah.
And a team hitting wise that was better than they were at the beginning of last season. That ended up managing to go to the World Series. I call that a great situation.
It's a lot of injuries, though. It's the problem.
This season, yeah, definitely. But there were a lot of injuries last season as well. And then you had Cespedes, of course, come along. Cespedes is already here. And you could afford injuries. I said that at the beginning of the season because you had bigger depth. You had guys like Flores, who at the beginning of this season wasn't supposed to be starting. He was supposed to be your bench guy. But now you see where he comes in handy because now you need a bench guy to come up because without David Wright, you need somebody. And then they completely surpassed Flores. That's what I want. Do you think they're treating him unfairly?
Absolutely, positively unfairly, because what he's doing is hitting home runs and getting benched the next day. Then Terry Collins has him pinch hitting. He hits a home run, he benches him the next day.
Honestly, the stupidest thing I'm watching, to be very honest, because the guys that they're replacing him.
Well, it's mostly Jose Reyes.
Because Jose Reyes has been performing now, but right now, Flores is surpassing him in almost every hit category, and you know Flores can't keep that up. He goes on those streaks.
That's why you got to play him.
Why don't you play him when he's on those streaks?
The thing is, like, I don't mind you playing Jose Reyes at third, but the question is, Neil Walker's doing terrible right now, abysmal. Why aren't you moving Flores at second? He plays second base, he plays shortstop, he plays first, and he plays third. These guys go into big slumps, but you're not letting Flores, move around the bases. He can play pretty much anywhere. He's very versatile, even though he has terrible defense. There should be a way to keep him in almost every game.
Okay, back to the wild card division. You think they make the division? I want to first. I think we'll conclude with that because that'll be your take.
Okay.
First of all, here's what they have to do to compete. And that's absolutely nothing except for play better.
Yeah.
I know Mets fans don't want to hear that, except maybe you. But I know some Mets fans don't want to hear that because you put yourself in a little bit of a panic mode. You haven't, which is good.
Yeah, Panic City, that was the big story last year. Everybody was in Panic City.
But you gotta be in a little bit of a panic, obviously, because you think you'd be doing better. So obviously it's, okay, what can we trade away to get other pieces? Do you want, what's that catcher's name?
Jonathan Lucroy.
Yeah, do you want Lucroy?
No, I don't even want Lucroy.
Do you want bats? Do you need another hand on the bat? No, because you guys have the best team capable of winning. It's just without Matt Harvey. But what are you gonna do? You can't get him back in healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing the Mets can do is get healthy and start playing to their potential. That's it. Because if you trade guys, you're not gonna get what you want out of it, because you're gonna get worse in the end. What are you going to do? Trade away Max? You don't want to trade away Max.
No.
What are you going to do? Trade away Wheeler? Trust me, you don't want to trade away Wheeler.
You don't trade somebody away when they're at their lowest.
Especially when you got guys who are now getting injured in your rotation. Syndergaard, you can't convince me he's completely healthy yet. Max is certainly not completely healthy
They
yet.
both have bone spurs pretty much, so
And
they're pitching well through it, though.
It's affecting Max more than Syndergaard, and it's barely affecting either of them now. But still, you want to keep him on the safe side. I want those options. You have, what do you want? You want to trade a bat? Who are you going to get for Wilmer Flores? Nobody wants Wilmer Flores because of that, what is he, a 7 or 8 year contract?
Oh, the contract? He doesn't have a contract.
Wilmer Flores?
He's one of those arbitration,
He's under a long deal. He doesn't have
control.
He doesn't have a buyout yet. So
he's under team control.
So if you give him away, you're giving him away with a lot of baggage. No one wants that. Especially from Flores, who has not consistently been able to play well. Now, it's just going to get worse. Give away a guy, you're not going to get the same guy in return. This is the team that can win. And if you don't win, oh well. But you're really going to mess yourself up for the future if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
If you trade away guys, don't be sellers. Don't sell, and don't be a buyer, because really by buying you're selling at this point.
Okay. So to finish this off,
and you're really gonna have to fight for the wild card. You're not winning the division.
To finish this off,
you're not winning the division.
I'm always optimistic.
Not winning the division.
And you said the Mets would win 74 games, I think, or something like that. They were up to like almost 50, 40 something. They were about 6, 7 games over 500.
I think they're on pace for that then.
They're on pace for, I think, 88 wins right now or something like that.
They're not going to win 88 if they play like this.
Well, if they keep the pace, they're going to win. But anyway, I do see the Mets realistically getting a wild card. Optimistically, I see them winning the division. I said it last year when everybody said they're not winning the division. Guys on MLB Network were saying, no, I still see the Nationals. I said the Mets would win.
Is this after the Cespedes deal?
This was before and after the Cespedes deal.
You cannot have told me before the Cespedes deal.
Yeah, no, because it was Johnson.
Win the division.
Johnson was doing.
They stunk before the Cespedes deal.
No.
They stunk before the Cespedes deal.
You're trying to be Mike Francesa over here.
The Cespedes deal was what brought them to the World Series, what brought them to the division.
Oh, of course.
They were they might have made the playoffs via wild card beforehand, but the Cespedes deal was like a rocket propelling them.
Yeah, no,
this year they don't have that rocket to propel them. The rocket right now is shut down.
The rocket's right there.
It's shut down. Cespedes is doing great, but what about the rest of the team? What about the 5-man rotation that was supposed to keep everyone from one or two runs, which they are, but your team can't score and keep them in games?
But the team, and you said it yourself, the team that can score is there. They just gotta wake up. And Terry Collins has to stop acting like a terrible manager. Granderson has 16 home runs, something around that. The guy has 29 RBI. That's not, what's 16 times 2?
16 times 2 is 32.
Exactly. He's not even averaging a 2-run homer for each home run. You should have triple the amount of RBIs than home runs. The fact that he was leading off and now that he's only in the 2-hole, this is all on Terry Collins. He's a terrible manager.
When they got raised, I thought this problem was going to be solved.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you have a leadoff guy, now move Granderson down. You have guys.
Yeah, they only moved him down to the 2-hole. I think this team can win. You can mark my words. Raphael obviously doesn't think they're going to win. You can mark his words, but that's all the time we have.
They'll make the wild card, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll put up a fight for it.
Yeah, I'm saying optimistically. They win the division.
I have no reason to be optimistic.
Of course, I'm definitely optimistic though. You know it. But anyway, that's all.
That's it. I'm Raphael Lee.
And I'm John Jackson. This has been The Man Cave.